I think for us, a lot of it is mindset. Like we talked a lot, even this morning, about how if we have in our minds that, we are going to continue to bring abundance into our lives, that we are going to be positive, that we're going to be looking at it from a productive mindset rather than, everything's, going to hell in a handbasket and the market's crashing and all of this. Mm-hmm. We are definitely not looking at it that way. We are going to go into everything, obviously, with our eyes wide open, but looking at it from a standpoint of life is good. The real estate market is still good. Like it needed to shift, and just looking at the positives of where the real estate market is going.
Hey everybody, I'm here today with Michelle Lundeen, leader of the Team Lundeen out of the Cambridge area office. Michelle's been with RE/MAX for, we're going to say 14-ish years.
14-ish years,
okay.
Yep.
And in real estate this whole time?
Yes, actually since 2001. So okay. I started when I was 23 years old, and
right.
yeah.
And now Team Lundeen is the number one real estate team in Isanti as of this month, I believe. I saw something about that.
Oh,
right?
Good. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, hopefully it was before this month.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Compiling the data.
That is our goal, is to be the number one real estate team in Isanti County. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to get into how you got there, but we're going to take a step back and go all the way back to the beginning. So are you from Isanti County originally?
Yeah, great question. So I graduated from Cambridge. So I graduated in 1996, mm-hmm. and my husband and I moved back there soon after we graduated from college. And he actually started subbing and then teaching at the high school, and he is teaching with all of my old teachers, so which is kind of fun.
Okay, what's the worst story he's heard about you as a student?
Oh, man, that's a good question. I was a really good student. I probably was a little bit of a brown noser and a teacher's pet, so that's probably what he heard. Like, if I didn't do well on a test, I would go to my teacher and ask for a better grade or to be able to retake my test, and usually I was able to do that.
See, that frustrates me because I didn't know people could do that when I was a kid. I did not know that grades were negotiable.
They were negotiable. Yes, mm-hmm. yes, many times.
And my parents were teachers, and they never told me that.
They didn't want you to know.
Yeah. Okay, wait. So, born and raised?
Nope, I was actually born up in Hibbing, Minnesota, so on the Iron Range. Yep, okay. And lived in the Grand Rapids area for a while. Lived down in the cities for a while, and then moved to Cambridge when I was in 6th grade.
Got it. What was it like being a ranger?
Oh, man, well, I wasn't there very long, but one set of my parents, so I have 2 sets of parents, and one set is in Grand Rapids. So they're, around Pekegama Lake, so I was there all summer, and it was beautiful. I love it. We still go up there quite often and hang out.
Have you ever seen Hibbing High School?
Oh, yes. Okay, so we would have swim meets in Hibbing, and there was lots of stories about the swimming pool, and this is totally digressing, but mm-hmm. my swim coach, they would have to swim naked, all the boys. So this is totally digressing. Okay. This is totally off topic. But back in the day, they were horrible to these young men. They would have to swim naked. And we, thankfully, in swimming, that was not the case when I graduated.
So just to be clear, that is not the reason why I brought up Hibbing High School. I just wanted to bring it up because
you can delete all that.
It is maybe one of the most beautiful high schools in the state. It's because, I think it came from a lot of the iron ore money when Duluth had a lot of gangsters and stuff. But it's just like marble. It's just spectacular. It's just beautiful.
Well, you brought gangsters, so that's cool. But yeah.
Well, there was a time Duluth had more gangsters per capita than Chicago.
Oh, I did not know that.
More millionaires per capita than Chicago. And then they decided it was too cold. And then they all moved south, and they left Duluth and the range to our own devices.
Oh, yep.
Are
you from up there?
I'm from Duluth.
Okay.
So, the Rangers would look at us and we're like, oh, those cake eaters from Duluth East.
Yes.
Yeah, but I've got some friends. I got some stories about going up north to the good people up there.
Very nice.
A lot of snowmobiling happening up there.
Yep.
Okay, so where did you And your husband go to college? You met in college?
We actually met at Pamida. I don't know if you guys know what a Pamida is. It's like a small version of a Kmart. You do know what
There's
it
one
is,
in Two
I'm sure.
Harbors.
Yes, there was one in Two Harbors. I know. I was so sad when that closed down and then
What?
Shopco came in.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyways, so we met at Pamida. We worked together, and then we started dating soon after I graduated from high school. I went to a different college initially, and then we went to Crown College, and we both graduated from there.
Is Crown College in the cities here?
Yep, it's in St. Bonifacius, so it's a small Christian private school.
Got it. Okay. And what'd you study?
Psychology. So I have a degree in psychology. Started off my career of psychology working in St. Francis at Bar None, which is for juvenile delinquent kids, which is actually how I got started in real estate because I got really tired of restraining 10-year-old boys, having to, we had these walkie-talkies and, I got tired of being spit on and swore at. And I saw an ad in the paper one day and there was a car salesman ad and a real estate agent ad. And it said, make $70,000 your first year. And I was like, well, man, that sounds a lot better than my $8 an hour I'm making at Bar None.
Jeez.
And I called the number, went in and interviewed. I didn't know, I'd never met a realtor. I didn't know you were supposed to actually interview other companies. I knew nothing about real estate. At that time I was 22 years old. And they said, yep, you're hired. So put yourself through school. You can go to ProSource. Come back, we'll take 50% of your commission. You need to buy yourself some signs, buy yourself business cards. And I was like, sounds good. And that's what I did.
You're quote unquote hired, right?
Hired, yes, you're hired. Yeah, I had no idea what that meant.
Wow. Well, when you were in school with psychology and everything else, what at that time did you envision your career path was going to be?
Yeah, good question. Well, I should have went into business, but my husband told me to go into business, and I was not going to listen to a man tell me what to do. So I was like, nope, I'm not going into business. I'm going to be in psychology. I'm going to be an author and a speaker. And that I decided I didn't want to do it. Excuse me, I didn't want to do any of that.
What kind of writing were you going to do?
I don't know. I really had no plan necessarily. I just thought, I don't mind writing and journaling, and maybe I'll do something with this.
So fiction, nonfiction, which is your...
Fiction. Yeah, I'm definitely not a nonfiction type gal.
I'm with you there.
Yeah, I don't like reading nonfiction. I like anything that is not true. If I'm going to just relax and enjoy, if I'm going to watch something or read something, I have to know that the good guy's going to win at the end and that the woman's going to kick everyone's butts and it'll be...
All right, so you don't listen to your husband.
Yes.
That's fine.
That was bad, though.
I think
I should have.
So you wind up in real estate.
Yeah.
20-ish years ago, something like that?
Yeah, 22 years. I just started my 22nd year in August of this year.
Okay, which I'm not going to do the math in my head. When was that?
So...
2001
is when I got my real estate license. Yep.
Okay.
So just starting my 22nd year.
And what do you remember about the market then?
Man, the market was really good back in 2001. I remember that houses were selling quickly. The first client I ever had, he was one of my best friends from high school. It was her boyfriend. And guys, back then, we had to use MapQuest, but he taught me how to use MapQuest. We had King's map books, and I had to take the King's map books and photocopy them and then highlight my route to get to every house because we didn't have GPS, I had a flip phone, I think, at the time, or one of those little Nokias. And the market was such that the house that he ended up writing an offer on, it was in Roseville. I remember sitting there, I had legal size documents and they were all the carbon copy ones. So I have a cheat sheet of my purchase agreement on the long side of me. He's there with his parents. And oh man, it was very difficult. I had no idea what I was doing, but got through writing it. And I was basically you can't have any contingencies. And unfortunately for me at that time, I didn't have somebody mentoring me or telling me what that meant. So I thought that meant he couldn't even have an inspection contingency. And things were selling pretty quickly. So a lot of people weren't, some people weren't doing, but most people were having inspections. So we wrote the offer. answered his parents' questions the best I could as we're sitting there. I go back to the office, which was in Coon Rapids. So driving back from Roseville, I think we wrote the offer at the house. You know, you would just write them wherever you could on all these, you know, legal size documents, carbon copy, get back to the office. I don't know how to turn the lights on. These are things people don't teach a new agent, how to turn the lights on, how to use the fax machine. So I had to fax the offer off to the listing agent. And man, it was 9:30 at night. I'm leaving the office just crying. I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. So thankfully there was a gentleman there. His name was Mike, and he answered his phone late at night to walk me through like the process of it. And then my client got the house. So he was super excited. Thankfully also the seller let him do an inspection. Just had it be
I was going to ask.
Yep. So I called him, I called the agent a couple days later and said, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that we should have had an inspection. Can my client at least do one? And he allowed him to do one, non-contingent. So, yeah.
So it kind of illustrates that. I mean, and fast forward, you're in a great spot. You're doing a tremendous amount of business. You're running a team, everything else. But it just kind of shows that the barrier to entry to get into real estate can be pretty low. And
Very low.
It's so incredibly important to align yourself with
Yes.
People who can guide you through, because what you learn in ProService or Kaplan or whatever the pre-licensing thing is very academic.
Yes.
And then
not real world at all.
not real world.
Yeah.
How do you get clients in 2001 in America?
Yeah, good question.
With a flip phone and no social media.
You tap into your friends that you went to high school with in college. And, I didn't know that real estate was being sold in the Cambridge-Iceni area. So my business was all in the Twin Cities. I literally... so I started off at a brokerage in Coon Rapids, soon went over to Counselor Realty in Fridley and Spring Lake Park. We were kind of between those two offices. And I just would park my car there and get out and do some stuff there, and then I would leave. I would go everywhere. I would go to Hastings and Eden Prairie, and it was basically have car, will drive, and bring all my forms in my trunk and just sold real estate that way.
And while you're doing this, your husband, I'm gathering, is a teacher?
He was a teacher. He is a teacher
still
and
is
was
a
a teacher. Yeah,
Okay.
thankfully.
Yeah.
So he had that stable.
You're just bringing home that bacon.
Yeah, he had the insurance. He actually tried real estate for a little while. So
Okay.
we made a little team when I was at Counselor Realty, and at that time I was actually on a team as well. So I ended up joining a team, which was so beneficial. It was just so nice to have that mentorship and somebody leading me and teaching me how to do things too. So that was good. But yeah, Clint tried it for a little while and decided it wasn't for him.
So when you were in the throes of the summer market and you're busy all the time, and then he just wakes up and he's sipping his coffee in his bathrobe, just like, I'm just gonna hang out and watch Judge Judy today. How does that dynamic play out in your
No,
your
it's not
marriage?
him watching Judge Judy. It's that I come home and he and one of his good friends is out laying by the pool and sun tanning. That's what kills me.
Okay.
Yeah.
He earns that.
He does, yes. But he also, he's got a lot of things he has to do around the house outside. So,
Yep.
lots of yard work and stuff. So I'm actually really grateful he has summers off. But man, early on, when we didn't live on a property that had space, no, I didn't like that he was just at home. I don't, he didn't have a lot to do at that point. So,
Yeah. Okay. That's funny.
Yep.
Clint, I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry, Clint.
All right. So, talk to me about, so you were on a team.
Yeah.
Then did you transition off and go independent first? Did you, when you did that, was your design to make your own team, or did you just want to go solo?
Yeah, good question. So I was on a team for a few years. So this was during the short sale. We did a ton of short sales and lots of foreclosures were going on. So I actually worked for my team lead for 4 hours a day on just an hourly basis so I could get paid and have that stability for a few hours a day. And then I sold after that. And it was great until he started not showing up for work. Until I would stop at his house, because we didn't have Dropbox and stuff in the cloud. I would literally stop at his house, pick up files, and bring them to the office. And it got to be where he just wasn't coming to work. And I was like, I am making the money here, and he's not doing anything. So soon after that, I transitioned to being a solo agent, and then another agent that was on his team as well. We kind of partnered up for a little while. And then soon after that, so in 2008, Dennis Anderson with Remax Associates Plus called me and said, I want you to manage our Cambridge office. And I was like, Cambridge, which is where I was living. But I was like, I don't know anyone up there. I'm not sure that my business will be successful in Cambridge. And it took him a little convincing to try to finally get me to Remax Associates Plus at that time up in Cambridge. But he did, and I'm very happy I did.
Okay. And so you became a sales manager. Did you get your broker's license?
I didn't get my broker's license,
Okay.
but they just had, at that time we just had office managers. So
Sure.
I was selling and kind of being the manager where I would lead meetings and stuff on a monthly basis, just do, I don't know, little motivational type things to get the office kind of geared up and motivated.
So that, I imagine, that experience sort of led you to think, well, why don't I just run my own team?
Actually, my
No?
husband, Clint, thankfully, is why I have a team. Because I was at the point in my business where I wanted to get in a car accident. I wanted to have really weird stories, I think. But anyways, I didn't want to have anyone contact me. Like, I wanted to be in the hospital and not have anyone be able to call my phone. Because I just felt like I was always on call. Like, I had no time off. I was being very busy. And I didn't really feel like I was productive, but I was just spinning my wheels too. Like, I was always working and just really busy. And Clint was like, you need to do something. You need to hire someone and have someone work with you because you can't keep living life like this. So thankfully, one of my first assistants was Esther, and she was actually a client of mine as well. And she got her real estate license and joined me. And that was kind of the start of Team Lundeen.
So at that time, when I guess you're like, when is this happening in relation to what time? Like, is this post 2010-ish when kind of the post recession where things are heating back up again?
I would say probably around 2013.
Okay.
I think is probably 2013 is when I started. Like, things started to kind of get busier.
How many units are you doing a year at 2013?
75 on my own.
Seriously?
Yeah, it was just kind of crazy. So I was like, I just can't keep doing this. So Esther got her license and she joined RSS at the time and then came over to Remax Results.
To all of our podcast listeners who are not familiar with real estate, 75 units a year is a lot.
It was a lot. It was exhausting. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And were you also still helping to manage?
No.
the office? Okay.
No. So once Associates Plus sold to Results, that dwindled away.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that is a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot.
So how did you manage, so you brought in an assistant. How did you, how was that process of trying to sort of delegate away, or were you happy to just throw this, hand stuff off? I mean, how did that?
No, it took a long time because I really felt like I was much more of a control freak at that point. Like, I just really felt like I'm doing it really well. I know what I'm doing. Like, it was really hard to start handing business away. But I had a couple of, we had a gal named Jen, not the Jen that I have right now, but who was also doing some flyers and doing different things for us. So like, we had some office help as well. But yeah, I don't know. I just knew that I needed her. So I just needed Esther at that point to really dive into that.
Because you build up this business, you build enough of a client base to generate 75 units a year or whatever, but then the idea of passing off anything to someone else and not having that Michelle touch, right, is a little scary.
Yes.
But just through trial and error, you just kind of figured out the things that they were good at?
Yeah, I figured out what Esther was good at. And then soon after Esther was with us, then Jeff Rude came on, and he's been with me for almost actually it's been 8 years. So finding out what people are good at, being willing to just pass along business, but then also know that it's all reciprocal too. And that we just can't do it all on our own. Like, in order to be successful, I think we need to have the strengths of other people around us. Which is really what my team brings, is a lot of different strengths.
So as it sits today, what is your team comprised of relation to sort of support staff and producers?
Yeah, so Jen Droman, she is our client care coordinator and like she basically runs our team. So Jen does that. We have Sarah Dopp, who is licensed, with Jen's licensed too, but Sarah's licensed, she'll sell, and then she does all of our marketing. So she's our marketing coordinator. And then we have 6 other licensed assistants too.
Okay.
Team associates.
A question for you. So what would be the reason you'd say why someone should join Team Lundeen as a producer?
Oh, that's a good question. So we recently had a team associate, Brian, who joined our team, and, really looking at it from more of a branding standpoint in our area. We really pride ourselves on being a team full of integrity and morals. We really want to be community minded and just focus a lot on giving back to our community and to our clients. So I think a lot of just the brand awareness in town and wanting to kind of I don't know, just that's probably.
Yeah, you got a lot of good momentum.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but then if I asked you, one of your teammates, why would you not want to be part of team? Like, what is Michelle's worst quality?
Oh, I'm sure that they could probably say that a lot better than me. But we were just talking about this today at my office meeting. I'm a good delegator, but sometimes maybe to a fault. Like, I love to be like, and you can do this and you can do that. And sometimes I feel like I have too many ideas too. Like, although in some ways I'm more of an implementer, not the idea person. A lot of people on our team have really good ideas as well. And I don't mind implementing a lot of them, but I'm also very quick to be like, let's have everyone do this. And then sometimes I'll chase after a shiny object and then have to rein it in because they'll remind me, no, you tried this before. Remember, we've tried this. It didn't work. Or this is really similar to something else we've done before. Let's not do that. So thankfully, I feel like our team speaks into my
that's good.
Crazy as well and reins me in.
But that's one of the best things. Like, there's one thing to have an idea. It's another thing to actually try it.
Yeah.
Right? And there's a lot of people that will have the idea. They'll say, I should do it. And then they don't actually do anything with it.
Yeah.
And then it sits there and sort of in the invisible world, and then nothing ever comes of it.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
But see where you're chasing butterflies all over the place and coming up with, well, it's working.
Yeah.
It's working. So you tell
thankfully.
them next time that they tell you to stop, you say, hey, we're number 1 in Isanti County, so we're doing something right.
Most of the time, though, thankfully, I have people around me who have really good ideas. Like my husband, Clint, has great ideas. Jeff has great ideas on our team. All of them bring something, and then we just work on how can we implement it. So, yeah. Shout
out to Jeff. I mean, he's called me a few times.
Oh, awesome.
He has very thoughtful questions, and we talk through things. You and I have had our conversations about different legal issues as well.
Yes, of course.
It's always nice to help.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
So when you in your sort of story in real estate, I guess you started before in the build up to the burst, and then saw the downturn with short sales, and then from 2010 to 2022 is another very strong build up. And we're sitting here today in October. Rates are up. Days on market are longer. It feels like things are cooling off. As you would look ahead based on your experience, having kind of gone through this cycle before, if we just accept the premise that maybe we're looking at a softening market.
Yeah.
How do you pivot, or how do you have that conversation with your team about what comes next?
Yeah, that's a good question. We actually were just talking about that a little bit this morning at our team meeting, because we were going through our why and what is our why. And we started a lot of our business planning in the last couple of months, and we really looked at the end of August as the end of the year and as September 1st as a brand new year. And so thankfully, this last quarter has been a really productive quarter for us. We've continued to build momentum. We've continued to be productive and profitable. And so I think for us, a lot of it is mindset. Like we talked a lot, even this morning, about how if we have in our minds that, we are going to continue to bring abundance into our lives, that we are going to be positive, that we're going to be looking at it from a productive mindset rather than oh, everything's, going to hell in a handbasket and the market's crashing and all of this. We are definitely not looking at it that way. We are going to go into everything, obviously, with our eyes wide open, but looking at it from a standpoint of life is good. The real estate market is still good. Like, it needed to shift, and just looking at the positives of where the real estate market is going.
And what do you hear from your clients, be they buyers or sellers, like right now today? As by the way, people are going to hear this probably a few weeks from now, something else like that. But it's approaching Q4. Are we in Q4?
Yeah, we're in Q4.
We're in Q4.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's that time of year where there's naturally a decline anyway. Yeah. Usually October's our busy closing month, but as we go into November, December anyway, it usually tails off a bit. But that doesn't mean business stops entirely.
Right. Yeah, it doesn't mean you just start sitting on the couch watching Judge Judy like you were talking about earlier and eating bonbons. We are literally going to continue to work and continue to reach out to our clients, to our sphere of influence, to the people around us, to all the people that we have talked to in the last 2 years and looked at their homes and done market evaluations for them. We're going to continue to reach out to them, continue to see if there now is a time for them to think about putting their house on the market. And yeah, it's a good time to still be very proactive in our business. And that's what we want to be, is continually be proactive, not just sitting back thinking that things are going to happen to us. Right. And I think that's part of it in the last 2 years, especially for agents that were newer. You would just put a sign out and the house would sell in 12 hours. And you think, oh, pat on my back, I'm doing really great. Well, no, we actually need to be working. I think that's a big part of it, is just, going back to work.
What do you think about, how do you either prepare or have that conversation with the seller about a price reduction if, we're not seeing the activity we expected? Yeah, we're not in the market where it's like you just go out in the lake with a boat and the fish jump in it. Right? You have to actually reel them in a little bit now.
So, and you were asking about what my clients are saying too. So I actually had 2 sellers bring me the latest article from the Star Tribune where it was talking about pricing homes. So I thought that was really good, because my clients are actually paying attention and being proactive, and it's allowing for conversations. It's allowing for us to really dive in and look at, okay, this is where the market is right now, and maybe changing some pricing where we would have maybe been priced differently even a month ago from where we are now. And so when we look at it, especially pricing for listings, we really want to make sure that we're looking at what has sold in the last 14 days to a month or two. Look at where houses were priced at and then what they sold at, and paying more attention to where they were priced at than what they were, than what they sold at 5 to 6 months ago, because that's really going to be more of an indication, I think, of where prices need to be now. And then what's pending, how many days on the market the pending properties have sat there, because we don't want them to sit very long still. Yeah. And then we also are looking at our listing leverage and what are we doing to set our clients up and to set us up so that we can succeed. So we have a marketing plan of, this is what we're going to do in days 1 through 5. This is what we're going to do 5 through 10. This is what we're going to do 10 through to 15 and 15 to 20. And so that we have that plan outlined already so that our clients feel confident in our marketing abilities.
Okay. So just continuing to deliver value add.
Yeah, value to them. Yep.
Okay. Good. That's the whole game, right? I mean,
we want to get ahead of it. So we don't want to all of a sudden be like, oh my gosh, now what do we do? No, we want to have a plan in place.
So having sort of been in Cambridge, living there for a majority of your life, kind of, is there anything that you and your team do to engage with the community at large, besides just individual clients and everything, to kind of give back, or to try to keep your team top of mind with the Cambridge community?
Yeah. So can I kind of talk about some of the branding stuff and then get to the things that we do?
No, you can't.
Okay.
No, yeah. Of course.
So we do a lot within our community just to bring us top of mind. So we have a billboard, we advertise at Cub and Coburn's and just a lot of restaurants and stuff like that. So we really do want to get our brand out there. we have one little street and circle where we've sold 7 houses on this one specific circle. So we send out postcards and stuff like that. So we want to remain top of mind. And then we also have different client appreciation and customer appreciation events. So we recently had a fall festival, which is at the Erickson Farm in Isanti. And we invite not only our clients in our sphere, but like just other people that we have met or that we know in general. So that's been really fun.
Cool.
We're all like really... we're all a part of churches and stuff in our community, and we serve that way. So bringing it back to a couple of my team associates. So Brian, who is newer to my team, he's also a pastor and does finances at New Hope Church. Jeff and he both work on in Sunday mornings, they'll be handing out bulletins and doing stuff like that. Like a lot of us have done stuff with like welcoming people into our church communities. Sandy is a caterer as well. So she does an amazing job of staying front of mind of people because she's also making them food, which who doesn't love that? I mean, that's one of the things that I love, and I love that about her. So just trying to like continue to give back in different organizations that are around our community. Jeff is really instrumental in a group called ROCK, which is called Rely on Christ, and it's a Wednesday night program for youth. We do a lot with basketball games and football games and stuff, and just give back in different ways with being at those events as well.
I mean, and like you kind of talked about that abundance mindset. One of the things that you can have an abundance mindset is with your time.
Yes.
Right. And your energy and your willingness to commit that to things outside of your business and your own family, right?
Correct.
And push that back out into the world.
Yes.
So that's awesome.
Yeah. One thing that we're doing right now, and I don't know when this is going to come out, but we are raising $5,500 to build a house down in Guatemala right now.
Really?
So if anyone wants to donate to that, it's through a group called Recycled Lives, which is a nonprofit group and organization. So
okay, so we're going to do a quick plug. So tell me again.
Recycled Lives.
You're building, you're raising $5,500 to help build a home down in Guatemala.
And this is our 7th one. So every year for the last 7 years, we have raised money to have Recycled Lives build a house in Guatemala. It's in San Gabriel, Guatemala, and it's right next to garbage dumps. And most of the people down there live in just these little shanties with tin roofs. Not the best conditions. And so it's unbelievable to me to think about anywhere between $5,000 and $6,000 will build a concrete home for a family to live in.
So if you want to donate here at Recycled Lives.
Yes.
Put the logo right
That'd
here.
That'd be awesome.
Well, that's awesome. That's really cool that's amazing how achievable that seems.
Isn't that achievable? Yes.
$5,500 and you can,
And we have a lot of realtors and stuff around us who are willing to donate to that too, which is wonderful. So I love that.
That's really cool.
Oh, and I should also, so one thing, and I would definitely recommend that people do this. Like, I think this is a great thing. So we do a sharing is caring campaign. So every listing that we have, every like real estate promotional thing that we put out on Facebook and Instagram, when people share it on a quarterly basis, then we will donate money to a specific organization. So this quarter, it's Beyond the Yellow Ribbon. So that is for vets and military. Last quarter, it was for the Results Foundation. So we have in the past done New Pathways and Feed My Starving Children. So like, I think that's a really easy, attainable way that people can give back is you're already posting on social media. So ask people to share. And then after after the 3 months have gone by, add it all up and donate the money.
What is it, like $1 a share or something?
Yeah, $1 a share.
Okay.
It's super easy and fun, and you get people involved, and then you're giving to a charity.
Okay. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I've never even thought of something
sharing
like
is
that.
caring.
Sharing is caring. That's cool. So as you sit here today and you kind of look back on where you've come from, is there anybody or any people specifically that you think deserve some acknowledgement to sort of have guided you or influenced you along your path to where you've gotten to be where you are today?
That's a great question. Yeah. I would not be doing this if it wasn't for Clint, first of all, because within that first 2 years, everyone knows within the first 2 years is really the hardest with real estate. And there were definitely times that I was like, I think I'm just going to give this up. I'm going to do something else, maybe become an attorney. I didn't know, all these ideas. That would have been fun too. And he was like, no, you need to keep doing this. And so he has been super instrumental just in really helping push me and guide me along. I mean, Dennis Anderson getting me to Remax, what a huge difference from where I was before. And I love Remax. I love what John and Brenda, and Mike and Joe and you and what Stacy, when she was here, all of you guys, like what you have poured into each associate is amazing. Stacy Evenson, who is our office manager, gosh, we would not be here without Stacy. And then Jen Droman, who has worked with me for, gosh, I think it's been 6 years. She was gone for 6 years, and then she was gone for a couple of years, and now she's been back. And
nice. Yeah.
We would not be where we are without her and the rest of our team. So there's Sarah Dopp, Sandy Abraham, Jeff Rude, Brian Larson, and Susie Monty, who is also working down in the Rochester area as well. And we have a new gentleman coming on as well. And it's just been so fun to have all these people around me. So
cool.
Yeah, it's good.
So this is kind of, I think it'll be a repeat question because you already told me that you already talked about this, Dave. So, but to close out, what is your why?
Oh gosh, my why is super long actually, but but really to make it short is to live my life with an open palm. I feel like God's good gifts come in and go out, to have an abundance mentality. I look at life is so good. I look at every day as just a blessing and a gift, and to have more time with my husband, more time with our nieces and nephews and family, and with our people around us.
That's a pretty good why.
Yeah.
Michelle Lundeen, thank you for joining us on the Results Driven Podcast.
Thanks, Ed. Appreciate it.